What's going on, Lake Pro Tackle fam? Hope you're having a wonderful day today. In this video, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite springtime techniques to use for really pressured and also just lethargic fish. A lot of the time in the springtime, that top of the water column is getting a lot warmer. Fish are coming up, suspending, they're thinking about bedding. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite techniques to get those fish to bite. One of the biggest things about this technique is going to be the lure choice. So we're going to be heading out to the soft plastic area and picking up a few soft plastics to talk a little bit more about them and exactly why these techniques are so effective here. So let's go ahead, hop out there. Okay, so we're in the soft plastic building here. We're gonna go straight over to this section here. It has got a lot of bladed jig trailers, Fluke style baits, and this is what we're really going to be focusing on. You know, one of my all-time favorites, of course, is gonna be the Zoom Super Fluke. These are just a gold standard, so we're gonna go ahead and grab one of these. We're gonna talk about the D-shads, again, fan favorite right here. We've got some other really good ones. Something like the caffeine shad can be extremely effective as well. I'm not even centered, sorry about that. And then we're also gonna pick up these guys right here. Evergreen Last Aces. So we're gonna go back in the other building here, talk about these. All right, y'all, back here in the shop, the warehouse section. I guess it's not really a warehouse. We've just got a little bit of backstock back here, but I've got my flukes. Now, again, we're gonna run over them. I've got my Zoom Super Flukes, the OGs. We've got caffeine shads, we've got D shads, we got Last Aces, and you know, the biggest thing to me between each of these is going to be quality control, the QC behind each of the packaging. I've got the Zoom Super Flukes here. This is a pack of 10 for $6, less than $6. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you know, number one, pick up one fluke, into the tails bin. Number two, that one's not terrible. Put that in the good pile. Number three, this one is curved in like a little bit of a C. Number four, that one's not bad. We're 50% right now, batting 500. This one here, the ends are just totally crooked. Can't do that. This one is the worst one out of the bunch. I don't know if you can see that, but look at that tail. It's curved in a complete almost U. If I hold it upside down, it goes straight to a U. So this is where it comes into play here. You know, if you find good packs of Zoom or some other companies, I don't want to throw Zoom under the bus, but you know, flukes are notorious for being terrible coming out of the package. If you find a bait shop or you go into a bait shop and you want to buy flukes, make sure they're sitting good. A lot of the time, they get shifted around in transport. Most of the time, they lay them on top of each other like this, which is exactly how the caffeine shads and the D shads are actually set up. And these, I can pull them out of the packaging, and look at that right there, perfectly level. Of course, the little extra bulb in that D shad hangs down just a little bit, but it's not going to mess with the action. Now, one reason I absolutely love the Fluke in the springtime is that as that water is warming up, you know, moving into the 60 degrees, 55 degrees, these fish are going to start coming up off the bottom, or at least be looking up, getting ready to ambush bait fish, whether it's shad most of the time, bluegill, if you're moving more into the spawn or post-spawn. They are on alert 24/7. A jerkbait is a great way to get those fish to trigger, as well as, again, this weightless fluke. You can imitate bluegill, you can imitate shad, you can imitate almost anything to trigger these fish. Now, more specifically, moving into like the rigging on this, the hooks that I'm going to be going with are going to be the super line / a little bit heavier gauge EWG style hooks. And the reason I'm choosing an EWG style hook is that extra wide gap. It sits a little bit lower than the bait, so you're going to allow this bait to have a good natural horizontal fall in the water, leaving it in the strike zone for a lot longer while being able to twitch the bait in different ways. Now, I've got a couple hooks here, some ones that I'd highly recommend, something like a Berkeley Fusion 19. This one specifically here is going to be the Superline EWG. I've got a spear point hooks, heavy gauge, EWG, as well as the heavy duty Hayabusa. 3/0, 4/0 are typically going to be my go-tos. If you got something like the Last Ace, which is a lot longer than most of your caffeine shads, your D shads, anything in that 4 to 4.5 range, I just threw it. I might go with a 5-0. Sorry, I just threw it. I might go with something like a 5/0. Now, there's one little extra piece that I absolutely love doing and is almost necessary for a weightless fluke rig that not a lot of people do, but once you do, it's hard to go back. These guys right here, these are the ringed EWG Superline hooks. The 3/0, the 4/0 are absolutely amazing, pairing up directly with a D-shad or caffeine shad. This ring allows your bait to sit horizontal, sink horizontal, while maintaining, you can have your line anywhere. If you've got braid to leader, let's say, that braided line's typically going to be sitting more towards the surface. It's going to allow that ring and line to point upwards while maintaining a horizontal fall. If it's fluorocarbon on a long cast, a lot of the time it's sinking down, getting level with the bait. And it really just allows your bait to sit and maintain its verticality, which is, again, number one. The reason the Senko is so successful is that it sits very level in the water. It has a great finesse fall to it. When you pair something like that, instead of being a Senko with a D-shad, is that you've got a more natural bait fish presence, a very more natural silhouette for those fish, and the ring also allows you to really jerk this in, work the bait in more like a traditional jerk bait, where it opens up the action and allows you to really get some good, crazy, just erratic action out of it. Now, the caffeine shad has a little bit more of a bulbous tail, so you can get a little bit more of a glidey action out of it, as opposed to really just a jerky action. I'm trying to open up these caffeine shads here. They're set in very, very well, and they are heavily salted as well. You can see that tail pulls down a lot compared to the D-shad. So these are both absolutely great baits. If you're trying to work one a little bit deeper, I'd go with the caffeine shad. And if you haven't tried them, and hopefully we get some more in within the week or two, the Biwa Scorpitails add an extra layer of bulbous action in the back and really allow you to fish it in deeper water as well as a lot clearer water, because it's going to be a little bit more erratic and draw in those fish from farther away. So that right there is going to be like my number one go-to technique for the springtime. If the bite's getting tough, if I can tell those fish are getting pressured. Like I said earlier, you can throw this on casting gear. You can throw this on spinning gear. Typically for spinning, I'm throwing 15 to 20 pound braided line to around a 14 to 17 pound leader. I don't really go over that to allow my lure to have as much action as I can while maintaining the durability from that line to fish around shallow brush and trees and rocks and everything like that. And don't limit yourself on where you're fishing with a fluke. You can throw this anywhere. I'm talking over open water flats, stump fields, fish it around timber, throw it straight through timber most of the time, and you're not going to get hung up. When it comes to rigging the Texas rig, I typically go all the way through. I know my hook point is still exposed, but you can always do that little Texpose thing, stick it right under, just like that. I want to maintain the verticality of the bait, so definitely try out this ringed Superline EWG if you haven't already. But if you don't want to do that, definitely just check out all the cool brands we have: Hayabusa, Berkeley, Spearpoint, we've got Owner, Gamakatsu, other ones like that. And thank you so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel here. We greatly appreciate it. By the time this video is up, I should be roaming around the Bassmaster Classic Expo on Saturday and Sunday. So if you do run into me at the Expo, I've got some stickers in my backpack. So make sure to ask me for a sticker, and I'll definitely hook you up with one of those if I have any left. But guys, thank you so much. We have grown so much in the past couple years I've been here, and we're super excited to see that. But make sure to check out all the cool tackle we have at lakeprotackle.com, and we'll see you next time here at Lake Pro Tackle. Thanks for watching, y'all.